All right, welcome back to another episode of the Karter Cast, Western Conference preview time. If you didn't listen to the Eastern Conference, go back, click it, watch part one. Great episode. We're doing part two now. It's the Western Conference, back with Connor and I. We're recording on Thursday, October 19th, around 3:30 Eastern, about 5 days from the season beginning. You're either listening to this on Friday or like Monday. We'll see. Anyhow, Denver, let's start off. Northwest Division. Denver returning champs, over under 52.5 last season, 53-29. I'll let you start off here.
I like the over here. I'm leaning over 52.5. I think you can't bet against the Nuggets after what they did last year. Jamal Murray is fully healthy this year. He's not coming off an injury. He's not going to have to shake off any rust this year. I think Christian Brown's going to pick up some of the Bruce Brown slack in that void he left. Jokic just dominates night in, night out. You don't ever worry about him. He doesn't expend like a ton of energy. It's not like he has to put up 40 points to impact the game in a positive way. He can do it in so many different ways. He could have 20 rebounds one night. He could have 40 points on 20 shots one night. He could have 18 assists one night. He can just do it any way the team needs to. I can't bet against him in the regular season. And I think one of these young guys is going to step up for them. Sneaky Hunter Tyson, a name we know well from ACC basketball. Sneaky, he might be in the rotation. I like the over here. Top of the conference always has like mid-50s, upper 50s wins in the West. I went over it with the Celtics in the last episode. I like the Nuggets to get 53 here.
Yeah, over. I'm not going to take it. I might. We'll see like right before the season. As of now, if you're listening to this, I have not taken it. I'm leaning it heavily. You have to go over here because Jokic doesn't take time off. He always plays. He doesn't load manage, and he doesn't, like you said, he doesn't have to expend a ton of energy when he plays. I think I want to see a lot out of Michael Porter Jr. this year because let's say Jamal Murray has to take some nights off. You want to make sure he's ready for the playoffs, and I think they're going to make it a focal point to, hey, let's get Michael Porter Jr. going. Let's get his progression going. We're paying him a boatload of money. I want to see him improve a lot. But, man, Denver 52.5. Like, why are you going to bet against this team? They also have such an advantage. People overlook it. Living out here and then, like, people come visit out here and we go play basketball or something. The altitude is real, man. It doesn't, even if you're an elite athlete, Hakeem Olajuwon, every time you'd come out to Utah, you'd get stuck by the altitude. Denver, same thing. And a lot of the times, like the big games, Denver happens on like a back-to-back from they play in Utah Tuesday and then they're going to play in Denver on Wednesday. So they have such an advantage there with teams playing back-to-backs, home court advantage. They're just a good team too. They play great team basketball. I love Denver. We'll do finals picks later, but they're in the finals for me too.
They just take care of business on a nightly basis. Their guys play. They're like a well-oiled machine, and I don't see them being any worse than they were last year.
No, 53-29. Like if they went 53-29 again, I see it.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I don't think we have to add much more on Denver. It's just everyone kind of gets it.
You can't bet against Denver.
Let's get a little more fun now. Let's do Minnesota. The Timberwolves over under 44.5 last season, 42-40. The media went bananas with USA Basketball, and they're like, Anthony Edwards has taken that Kobe Bryant next step up. And then you're like, okay, let's slow down here. Like, I love Anthony Edwards. I think he's awesome. He is dynamic. I think they should build around him more than they are. But maybe we pump the brakes a little bit, or are you going over on the T-Wolves?
So I'm going to go both ways here. I think we can pump the brakes a little bit on Anthony Edwards, but I don't think it can be understated what he did for the United States this past summer. I think he's ready to be that number one option. I think night in and night out, he will be the number one guy this year, and there won't be a question about it. It comes down to this. Will Karl Anthony Towns be okay with that? Will he be okay with deferring and being like, you know what, Anthony Edwards, you're the guy. You're taking 20 shots. I'll rebound more. I'll pass to you more. I'll shoot threes at I'll pick my spots a little bit more rather than him being the guy like he has been the last few years. I don't know if I believe in that. That being said, I like the over here. Give me the over 44.5. I think Mike Conley's a great fit as a veteran leader point guard. He's got a couple years left in the tank, I think. Towns and Gobert together, we completely bashed it as soon as it happened. We were spot on. We were dead on about that on the defensive end. I think somehow they'll figure it out a little bit this year, whether it's staggering them more or just trading Towns in general. And then Jalen McDaniels at the 3. I think he's a good 3-and-D guy. Comes down to Towns, man. Is he going to buy in and let Anthony Edwards be that number one option? I think he's going to have to, and if not, I think they trade him. So I like the over here.
I'm going slight under. I think they improve, but I think they end up going 44, 38, 43. I think they get 1 or 2 wins better. I don't know if they're 3 wins better than they are last season though. That relies on Cat being healthy and taking that next step, and Anthony Edwards taking that next step. And do they let him take that next step? Does Cat let that happen? Does he? And Cat's kind of one of those drama guys where I'm a big anti-Cat guy, if you can't tell. I'm not a fan of his game and
all mentally weak team.
All mentally weak team. We already did that already. He's first team all mentally weak. Minnesota, they might be a good regular season team. Maybe they do win 48 games. Not going to bet it. I'm going slight under. 44-38 feels right.
One of the main points of me leaning over here on this one is, we'll get to it later, I've leaned under on a couple of these other mid-tier Western teams. So I was like, you know what? The win's got to be somewhere. I think the Timberwolves can do it. I don't feel strong about it. I'm not actually going to bet it, but I think they can get 45. They got the talent. I think Edwards is really going to take a step up this year.
Okay. OKC time. Over under 44.5 last season, 40-42. This is another media team that everyone's all in on every which way. The Chet piece, everybody can't get enough of Chet Holmgren. I'll start off here. Slight under.
Really? You're zagging.
So the thing is, like, everyone's kind of comparing them to, like, oh, they're going to be the Kings of this year, where the Kings made that huge jump. But, like, the Kings' win total last season was 35.5. And the Kings went, 48-34. Like, they made that big jump and all that. But, I don't know. Maybe I need to rethink. 40, like...
No, I like the zag. Go ahead. You're zagging. I like it.
So, I just see them being in a world where they win between 43 to 47 games. I don't see them going 58+. I don't see them going below 41.
Yeah, so I think that's fair.
So, and that's literally gambling. I'm not breaking any news here by saying that. But, man, maybe I'm just getting blinded by the media hype, getting scared. I don't know. Tell me what. I know you're thinking over, aren't you?
I am. I'm thinking over this year, and this is why. People are talking about SGA as a bona fide top 10 player, hands down. I think he's definitely in the top 10 conversation. All-NBA, made All-NBA last year. He gets to the line. The free throws, he gets to the line a lot, multiple times a game. That's something that translates across the season. Like, even if he's having an off shooting night and he's shooting 3 for 15, he can still get to the line 12 times and have a good game and help them win. I think Chet is going to fill a ton of holes for them. Last year, they were one of the smallest teams in the league. They were playing Jalen Williams at the 5, who's not really a 5. He's pretty much a 4. And then they were playing the other Jalen Williams at the 4. Like, they were a really small team last year. I think Chet's going to fill some holes for them. I think they have some depth. I think Casey Wallen's going to play for them. I think Trey Mann's going to get some minutes for them. Like, they have the depth as well. And I think they have enough guys and enough, the Blue Dort on defense, Shea on offense, Josh Giddey playmaking, Chet rebounding, defense. He's not going to be asked to score a bunch of points a game. I think they have enough pieces to where they're going to get over this win total. I think they're going to be a tough out. I'm not ready to put them at 50 wins and put them as like a top 4 seed in the playoffs by any means, but they can hit 45 wins. I think they are a prime candidate, a young team like this, to hit that next leap, and I won't bet against them. I can't bet against them because yes, there's a ton of media hype, but on paper and the numbers, it just makes too much sense for them to take that leap. So I'm gonna rock with the media hype. Give me the square pick, and I'm going over.
Okay, all right. You talked me into it.
I think you have to.
What really helps a lot with this is people keep overhyping the Chet stuff. I don't think the Chet piece of this matters as much because he's the 4th option, right? If you're on the floor, you're gonna give it to Jalen Williams, Shea, and
him and Josh Giddey can kind of.
Yeah, Giddey. That's where it gets. I still think Giddey gets the ball before Chet, but like, I think they're just going to play team basketball too. And Chet's going to. This is the perfect situation for Chet where he can play that role where he can pass a lot because I don't like Chet the scorer. I don't think Chet the scorer is his best game. I think Chet the passer, the rebounder, the team guy is his best game, and help defender blocks kind of thing. I don't think he's great when he's the focal point. I think he's too slow. I think he's just too skinny, as a matter of fact. That's just what it is. I think people are going to be underwhelmed at some point with Chet. Like, oh, we thought he was going to be this magical unicorn 15 and 8 guy kind of thing, when he's probably going to be, 8, 10, 10, 2, 10, 3. Like,
I would put him in maybe. I put him maybe like
not 10 assists, but like
maybe like 12, 10, and 12, 10, and 2. I would say maybe a double guy. Here's the thing for the Chet, though, Karter.
Wait. But I'm talking like 8 to 9 points, 10, 11 rebounds, 6, 7. I think he's going to assists.
No, not 7 assists. I think he's gonna really. Yeah, slow down the assists, and I think he's going to shoot too many shots for him to only average 8 points. I think he is going to get his fair share of shots in this offense. I do, from what I've seen in the preseason. But the thing is, with him, I don't ever think he's going to be like the 2015 guy or anything like that. He doesn't have to be with this team. With this roster construction, he can focus on rim protection. He can focus on setting screens, pick and pop, and shutting down the other team's best big man. He doesn't have to focus on creating offense for himself. Shea and Josh Giddey and Jalen Williams, to an extent, are all creators on offense. They're all capable of initiating the offense. He's going to be a lob threat, corner three guy off a swing pass, protect the rim, rebound. And that's what they need. 30 minutes a night from him and stay healthy. And that's all they need. And if he can focus on those things and do them well, this is a 45-win team.
Yeah, you talked me into it for sure. And the other thing that really talked me into it is how unselfish this team is. This is a really unselfish team. None of these guys are about them. It's not take your turn basketball, which you know is my number one least favorite thing to watch in this world. I hate like those Brooklyn Nets teams. Like, yeah, they were insanely talented, but I hate watching them because
they didn't run a single set. Oh my gosh.
No, when you play take your turn basketball, eventually it catches up with you. Who won the titles the last few years? The Nuggets. I don't know if there's a more team basketball team than the Warriors the year before. 21. The Bucks, they were moving the ball like there was no tomorrow. Even the Lakers, LeBron was passing like Magic Johnson out there in that bubble finals.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on here. Take your turn basketball, not my brand of basketball. Here's the thing with the Thunder also. There's no guys that are like, hey, it's my team. Well, it is Shea's team, but it's not like my team. I'm taking 25 shots no matter what. He's okay with deferring. And nobody's really trying to like play for that next contract. There's nobody that's like been in the league for 10 years that thinks they're entitled to a certain amount of shots or a certain amount of minutes per game. They have that team morale where I really think they like each other and they're young enough to be like, okay, we have something to prove. It's not one of those old guys that's like, I'm entitled to this.
Let's say they start off really hot too, and then the draft pick thing, like they just have the draft capital and trade pieces for where they can just all of a sudden make a blockbuster trade and it doesn't cost them a lot.
Right. They have the first round picks and the draft capital to be like, you know what? Okay, we're 10 games above 500 in January. Yeah. Let's go get Pascal Siakam. Let's go get, I don't know, Karl Anthony Towns. Just throwing a name out there. Not that they would do that.
I don't hate that. I actually don't hate that.
I don't know. We'll see. They could get a big name mid-year. We'll see.
Utah. Let's move on. Utah over under 35.5. Last season they went 37-45. We were under on Utah last year. We thought they were going to be the worst team in the league, and they really should have on paper. Like Lauri Markkanen resurgence, Walker Kessler becoming better than Rudy Gobert. Like obviously super unpredictable. Now apparently they are 2 wins worse now, or I guess 1 win worse really. Over under for Utah for you.
We're going to be different on this. I'm going under, and I think I feel pretty good about this under.
Are you betting it?
As of right now, no. But this is high on the docket of like if I want some more action, Jazz under. I can't see Lauri Markkanen being as good as he was last year. I just can't, for whatever reason, I can't see him doing that again this year. That's one of my other season-long total bets that I like is Lauri Markkanen under 24.5 points per game. There's no way he averages 24.5 points a game this year. I can't see him doing that this year. I think they could take a youth movement approach here. They could play Keontae George a ton more at point guard. They got John Collins, so like it's not like they're trying to tank. Like they're clearly trying to be better. They traded for a guy who's been a guy in the playoffs before. But I just don't think a lineup of Lauri Markkanen at the 3, John Collins at the 4, and Walker Kessler at the 5, can they coexist? This is kind of the same situation as Atlanta, where Walker Kessler is not an outside threat. He's not a three-point shooter. He's a rim runner, shot blocker, just like Clint Capella was. And John Collins played the 4 with Clint Capella, and he couldn't shoot. He couldn't stretch the floor. He was shooting 20% from 3. It didn't work. I don't see it working in Utah either. I don't see that front court working at all. I think they've got some pieces that are primed to be traded. Kelly Olynyk will not be on this team after this year or at the deadline even. I just don't see it, Karter. I like the under 35.5 here. I don't see this lineup working out well. I think they were a flash in the pan last year, and I don't even think they get to 30 wins.
Whoa. 30?
There's a good chance they get like right at 30. I don't even think it's going to be close to 35.5.
Really? Then why would you not bet it?
I probably will.
I'm over.
Karter, don't do it.
Do you not believe in Will Hardy?
That's fine and dandy. I don't believe in the players.
But they won 37 games last year, and the team was forcing them to tank the second half of the year.
I don't see it happening again. That was a one-off anomaly season. We're going to look back and be like, man, remember when the Jazz started off that well? And I don't see it again this year. I'm just looking at their roster, and I don't know where the production comes from. I don't see that front court working. I don't see it working.
Of what's the front court in your mind?
Markkanen at the 3, John Collins at the 4, and Walker Kessler at the 5. I don't see that working. Markkanen played the 3 in Cleveland a couple years ago before he came to Utah, and that didn't really work out.
I think John Collins ends up on the bench, if we're being honest.
He has to. Well, Lauri Markkanen last year with all that success was playing the 4 a lot of times. I mean, they did play him and Olynyk together quite a few, but I don't see him playing small forward and that working. If they do put Collins on the bench, which I don't know if he would like that, maybe, but I still don't see them getting to this total.
I'm going over here. I still haven't decided if I'm going to bet it. I don't think they're one win worse than last year because I watched the second half of this Jazz season. They were forcing the tank. They were making guys sit out. They weren't allowing their best players to play. And remember the All-Star break? I'm trying to get the stats department here, but it won't freaking load. Well, I'm trying to get the NBA standings at All-Star break. Oh, here we go. I got it. Here we go. Give me... So they were 29 and 30. They were 500 at the All-Star break. Yeah. And then they started sitting out guys after that. I think they're better than that. And I also really like Keontae George. I am a big Keontae George believer. I think he's going to play a solid role in this team. The home court is such an advantage. It's such an advantage. I've been to so many games. I see it. I can see how the other team could not give less of a crap being there. Is this team going to be in the playoffs? No. Is this team going to maybe sniff the play-in? Maybe they'll be in that 10, 11, 12 seed race. But I think they get to 36 wins. I'm going over here on the Utah Jazz.
Wow. Okay. So this is like one of our big splits then, because I really don't think they hit that number. So all right, I like that. I like a little zag here.
I think we're going to be aligned here. Portland over under 27.5. Last season they went 33-49. Damian Lillard not on the roster anymore. Scoot Henderson on the Blazers. DeAndre Ayton on the Blazers. Whole new roster, kind of, island of misfit toys up in Portland. I'll be quick here. I'm going under. I just don't buy this team a lot. I think they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's going to be really interesting. You're bored on a Wednesday night and you're like, oh, the Blazers are playing. Like, I kind of want to watch Scoot Henderson. He's going to be exciting. Hornets fans are going to freak out in the beginning because Brandon Miller's not going to play a lot in the beginning. Scoot Henderson is. Scoot Henderson's going to put up a lot of stats, and Brandon Miller will not in the beginning. But in the end, I think both can be very good players. Give me under 27.5. I just don't get this Portland team. I think they're going to sell a lot too still. I think there's a lot of deals to be made still.
I'm with you on this. Give me the under 27.5, and I'm not thinking twice about it. I think Scoot Rookie of the Year is still a pretty decent bet. I got it at 6-1 over the summer. It's at plus 370 now, and Wembanyama seemed pretty damn good so far this season, and Chet in the preseason. So, it's not a lock anymore, but I think he still has a pretty good shot. He's going to have the ball in his hands. He's guaranteed to have the ball in his hands more than they are.
Yeah, and also, the health bet. I think that's a great health bet.
Well, 65 games is the threshold here. So if Chet or Wemby gets hurt for 2 weeks, they're not going to rush him back. Neither one of those franchises is going to rush them back.
No.
I think for the Blazers, Ayton's going to put up big numbers. I think he might have a 30 and 20 game one night, and people are going to be like, "Oh my God, DeAndre Ayton!" Proving why he's the number one pick. That's not going to translate to too many wins. There's too many shot hungry guys on this team. With Lillard gone, there's so many shots to go around. But then you look at it. Anthony Simons, Shaedon Sharpe, DeAndre Ayton, Jeremy Grant, Scoot Henderson's going to want to get his. All these guys are going to want to take all these shots and be the guy. I don't think it's going to mesh well as far as team basketball goes. It's not going to translate to any wins. Jeremy Grant's going to be the odd man out on a youthful team. It's going to be why am I even here? I just signed the extension. It's just too many misfit toys, like I mentioned before with another team.
And too many guys on this. I don't like the mix of guys on this team that are oh, I'm playing to get mine.
Right.
Like the Jeremy Grant or DeAndre Ayton, they're playing to get theirs. Anthony Simons, they're there to get, their stats. And that hurts the development of guys like Sharpe and Henderson, which really scares me if I'm a Portland fan.
Yeah, I think so too. And you see guys like Ayton and Jeremy Grant, and they're fine players. They're very talented. They put up numbers, but when you think of them, do you think of a winning culture? Do you think of them on a winning team? No. Not really. Phoenix just dumped Ayton because they didn't think he'd fit there. So
no. And
I don't know.
Phoenix knows.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a Durant thing. Who knows?
I'm going under. I'm going under and not thinking twice.
Okay, Northwest Division. Denver, we went both over. Minnesota, I went under. You went over, correct?
Yes.
Okay, OKC, both over. Utah, I went over. You went under. Portland, both under. Solid division there. Any bets you have for that or no?
I'll probably end up betting the Jazz under. Other than that, no.
Yeah, I haven't decided on the Jazz one yet. Overall, though, in all these, I don't have a bet on any of these. Maybe I might sprinkle OKC. I'm getting
Yeah.
talked into it. Maybe I'm buying the propaganda. But anyhow, let's move on. Pacific Division. Phoenix Suns over under 52.5. The biggest offseason team. Bradley Beal now on the team. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, the big three. Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nazir Little, ACC guys. Phoenix Suns 52.5 last season went 45-37. We obviously saw what happened last season, losing to Denver in the playoffs. I'll start. They are not 8 wins better in the regular season. No way, ifs, ands, or buts. Under is one of my biggest locks this year. The Suns are not winning 53 games this season. No way this team. Kevin Durant is not going to. There's no way Kevin Durant plays a full 70-plus games this season. Bradley Beal can't stay healthy either. We've seen that. They don't have the depth. Grayson Allen is going to play 82 games of the regular season. If he's healthy, he is going to be on that court every single night because other guys won't be playing. No way this team hits 53 games. No way.
This is a regular season bet, regular season win total. You're talking playoffs. I think they can make a run, but
I
regular
think
season.
Suns are a legit finals contender. No doubt about that. The under 52.5 wins mortal lock.
Yeah, I love the under here as well. The regular season is not going to matter to this team. They can win 45 games and be a 4 or 5 seed, and it doesn't really matter because home court is not what it used to be in the NBA. That's a larger conversation we can have later. Home court's not what it used to be. Teams aren't dying to get in anymore. You saw what happened with the Bucks and the Heat last year. If the Suns get in as a 4 or 5 seed, they're not really going to care. So Durant
just make sure you're not in the playing game.
Durant, probably will play 55, 60, 65 games the most this year. We've seen Beal be in and out of the lineup. Nurkic is definitely a health scare as far as starting center goes. If they do somehow hit this total, Devin Booker will be in the MVP conversation. That's the only way. So if you want to hammer the under and put a bunch of units on the under, maybe sprinkle Devin Booker MVP because the only way they hit this total is if he is an MVP candidate, and I don't feel confident in that. I don't feel confident in that at all. I think this is a playoff-built team. They're waiting to get to April, May, hopefully play in June, and they're not going to give a crap about the regular season for the majority of it. So give me the under 52.5 here. And I think there's going to be some growing pains as well, as far as Beal fitting in. They don't have a true point guard who's really going to bring the ball up and initiate the offense. Who's going to be that fifth starter? Is it going to be Grayson Allen? Is it going to be Nas Little? Who's it going to be? I don't know. I like the under here.
I think it's going to be a similar thing in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, people forget, they look at that like it was a disaster experiment. Katie's foot's not 1 inch on the line. This team's probably, we're talking about Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden had won a title in Brooklyn. What a different world that would be.
Yeah.
I think this is I think this is similar. They don't care about the regular season. Why would they care about the regular season? They're all older guys. Devin Booker's the only one that would care, and I think he's going to put up an all-time stats season, though.
I think he's going to
put up. He might win the scoring title this year.
Yeah, I think because night in, night out, he's going to play. He's durable, and he's going to get his.
Yeah, 100%. Let's move on.
But under.
Yeah, under. I will be betting that. That's one of my bigger bets. That's not just a 1 unit future. Golden State over under 47.5. Last season they went 44-38. They add Chris Paul, lose Jordan Poole. Basically bringing back the same guys. I like the rookies they brought in. I can't pronounce his name. Brishemeski, whatever his name is from Santa Clara. I've even watching BYU basketball, watching the WCC, still can never pronounce his name. Big fan of him, though. Big fan of him. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes. But besides the point, over under 47.5. Before we get into the over under win total of this, is the Chris Paul experience going to work in Golden State?
I think it is. I think it is going to work. I think that's kind of what they needed as far as another veteran guy that's coming in, kind of at the same stage of his career, maybe a little bit further along than Curry and Clay, but an older guy who prioritizes winning, who's been on a lot of teams, been in a lot of big games, multiple-time All-Star, All-NBA guy. I think he has to be on the same page as this Golden State team. There's a little bit of a last dance vibes to this team as far as Clay might be not be on the team next year. The dynasty's coming to an end. Everybody's getting older. Draymond's getting older. Clay's probably not going to be on the team next year. They went all in and got Chris Paul, who's on the same timeline as this team. I think it is going to work, Karter. I think that experiment is going to work.
I'm in. I'm not a Chris Paul guy. You know this. Anybody who's listened to our show knows I'm not a Chris Paul guy. Nobody figures it out like Golden State. If you can't make it work in Golden State, it's on you. D'Angelo Russell not working out in Golden State. That's on him. That's who D'Angelo Russell is. We've seen guys like Andrew Wiggins come in. Andrew Wiggins, cancer, this, all that. Comes in. He's one of the best players on the team. Huge
All-star
for them.
starter. All-star starter.
But no, the biggest part of this is they don't have the headache of Jordan Poole Draymond fiasco anymore. That's done.
Right.
That's out. And now they have an adult in the room, a veteran. Yes, you don't want Chris Paul, playing big minutes every night. They don't need him to. And now they have someone that can alleviate Curry having to be on the ball 24/7. This is going to work out. I'm so curious to see Tuesday night. I think it fits immediately. I don't think there's going to be growing pains with Chris Paul.
You think he starts? Because in this past preseason game, he came off the bench.
I don't know. I've heard mixed things. I've been trying to read all the beat reports and going through the message boards. I can't tell. I've heard mixed reports. Like Steve Kerr says yes, Steve Kerr says no. You don't know. Maybe he won't start at the beginning.
He'll close.
He'll close. He'll be on the closing lineup,
Yep.
and that's what matters. I mean,
So one of my first bullet points I wrote down is full year of Andrew Wiggins and clean slate with Draymond. No Jordan Poole. There's no punch in the preseason to kind of set the tone for the season.
and a healthier Clay.
Healthier Clay. Curry is just as good. And I think this team's really going to buy in from the get-go and be like, okay, this is our mission. This is our goal. We're going to bulldoze our way to the playoffs and make a run at this thing because we don't know how much time we have left.
Now
I'm going over.
Oh, you're going over.
Over 47.5.
No,
Give it to me.
another point to get to this is like, will Golden State slightly care about the regular season this year because they saw what kind of hole it put them in, like being the 6th seed, having to go against Sacramento last year, and you're like, kind of put them in a bad spot, being that 6th seed, not caring if they go to that 4 or 5 spot. Either way, they weren't going to defeat Denver or LA, so it really didn't matter. But I'm going to go slide under.
Really?
I don't think they care. I don't think they care about the regular season. I think they win 46, 47 games, but 48, 49, 50, I don't know.
I like the over here. Slide over. I'm not going to bet it. I'm not that confident in it, but I think they click. No. I think the Chris Paul experiment works, and they'll click pretty immediately.
I get scared because like one weird Curry ankle injury, this is under.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So it's a Curry health bet if you like the over, and I can't fault for anybody that would take Golden State over. I love Golden State; they're my favorite team to watch, and outside of the sweet Charlotte Hornets, LA Lakers over under 46.5. Last season they went 43-39, got swept in the Western Conference Finals last year against the Denver Nuggets. Are you going over or under with the LeBron-led Los Angeles Lakers?
I'm going over 46.5, Carter. I'm buying it. I love what Pelinka. What?
Connor, you're a bronzesexual. Just admit it.
I'm not a bronzesexual. I
yes,
actually.
You are.
All my points are
Connor, it's okay. Come out of the closet. We can do this. This is a safe space.
I will say I have like 5 bullet points on the Lakers. LeBron's not mentioned in a single one. So just saying. I like the over here. I like what Pelinka did with the roster. Austin Reeves deal, complete bargain. Can't believe they got him for that number. Complete bargain. D'Angelo Russell, for as much hate as he gets and everybody thinks he's going to be traded, which he probably will, he'll be serviceable during the regular season. He will be serviceable. He'll put up some big games for them. Yeah, I don't know if we can trust him in the playoffs, but he'll get them some regular season wins. I think we get a fully healthy season from AD. I think AD is really going to have a full season this year, play 70, 75 games. We're due. We're due for that. And they added some pieces on the outskirts that really fit this identity. Gabe Vincent, Taurean Prince, those are some guys that can play some big minutes for them. Taurean Prince, spot up in the corner. He can play some defense on the wing. Gabe Vincent, hard-nosed heat culture guy, can hit the 3 off LeBron screens. It's just the perfect fit for a couple of these guys. And they'll be able to withhold if LeBron does go down for 10 games, if Anthony Davis does get hurt for 2 weeks. I think they have the pieces to kind of hold the ship, stay 500 if a star goes down. And I like the over here. I really do like the over here.
I'm not going to bet it, but I'm going to go with the over here too. I mean, the Lakers proved they're good, man. Like, they're legit. I would say they're not one of my favorite teams to watch in basketball. I want to bring this up. This isn't really about the win total. It's just NBA conspiracy theory. Tinfoil hat on here.
Of course, yeah.
How much money is Austin Reeves getting behind the scenes that's not on paper?
I think there's a decent amount that we don't know about. I really
do. Little
do.
Crypto.com action. Like
he's been in contact with Clutch Sports. He's got that shoe deal with, I don't even know what country it is.
Anta or China, whatever. Like the Anta China shoe, whatever. It makes no sense why
it's kind of like that.
Nobody even matched the offer. It wasn't even a big offer. He's not making that much money. It makes no sense. There has to be something backdoor going on.
There are guys that are significantly worse than him making double what he's making this year. And he's going to be a legit starter in this league. He's going to be their 3rd best player. He played on Team USA.
He's going to be closing. Like LeBron's going to defer to him in the final minutes of regular season games.
Yeah, they got him on a bargain, so there must be a little wink, like like college NIL deal behind the scenes. A little wink, like, hey, take this money. Our team's going to be better. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, I think there is too. Anyhow, I'm going slide over. I just think they're good. I don't want to bet it because I don't like betting on. LeBron's old, but he's always been a good health bet typically. AD, I just can't bet on him to be healthy. Every time he falls, I think he's hurt.
We're due though. We're due for a healthy AD or Karter.
I want to see every team healthy. Like
I do too.
I want to see, but I can't bet it. Are you going to bet it? Are you going over? Are you going to actually take it?
I think the only thing I did with this is I took the FanDuel boost where it was like Lakers 45, Thunder 40, Celtics 50. But I don't think I'm going to take a straight up.
I don't hate that. Moving on, Clippers. Everybody has a bad taste in their mouth. Everybody drank the poison that was the Clippers last season, and we were on the under. We
were all over it.
We were all over it. We're like, why on earth would the Clippers be winning 50.5 games last season? Why would you do this? They went 44-38. Their win total's 45.5. It's time to zag. It's time to zag. They're going over on this total.
No way.
Yes,
Karter.
They are. Connor. Nobody played last year, and they won 44 games. There's a load management. Now they have load managing rules. That's 2 wins. I think that alone, that small little rule change, adds 2 wins to their win total.
This is one.
It's time to zag.
No, I'm gonna lean. I'm leaning slight under.
No.
Yeah. Well, here's the reason, Karter. I have over for the Lakers. I have over for the Warriors. Spoiler, over for the Kings. There's just too many West teams that I have as an over. And this Clippers team I trust the least. So I had to go with another under somewhere. I don't trust their rotation. I think this Harden BS will become a distraction if they get him. If they don't get him, it's going to hang over their heads. Anything in the 50s, win total-wise, like last year, auto under. This is a better number.
I won't bet it, but I'm picking the over.
This is strictly a bet for me on the under just because of everything else I have in the West. I'm not going to bet it either. But
they have a bad taste in your mouth. Don't let that. No. Stop,
I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer. Give me the under.
They're going over on this win total.
I can see they might.
Yeah, but don't bet it. Don't bet it. Don't bet the over. If you're listening right now, you're like, he's making a point. It's time to zag. Don't do it, please.
Don't lose money on the Clippers over.
Last thing on the Clippers, Steve Ballmer. I've become a big Steve Ballmer fan.
Really? Why is
that? His work with the stadium, I appreciate that. It's because it's a fan arena. It's a fan arena. He has one section with no suites or anything. It's supposed to be a fan arena. He's looking at. I mean, obviously, it's a money venture and concerts and all that.
Yeah.
That's a part of it. But he wants the Clippers to be good. Like, if you could not ask for a better owner in sports, yes, does he make rash decisions and win now, like kind of blinded decisions? Sure, why not? But I'd rather have that than some of these soft owners and cheap owners. I'm in on Ballmer.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'd much rather have a hands-on owner as well, as far as somebody that like really cares about the team and how they do.
Or not one that just chooses to be hands-on when it's convenient for them.
Right, one that genuinely cares. Yeah, I think Ballmer actually cares about the well-being of the team.
So Intuit Dome, I will be there I will be there next season sometime. When it opens.
All right.
I'll make a trip to LA. Okay, I'm picking over. You went under. Kings over under 44.5. You alluded to it just now. Last season they went 48-34. They were the most improved team. They were everyone like, yep, Kings. Even before the season, we were saying Kings over when it was like 34.5, 35.
Yeah, it was low.
We didn't think it'd be this big of a jump, but it was. Over unders at 44.5. You said over already, so I'll start. I'm gonna go under.
No, Karter.
Yeah.
Why?
Defense. Their defense is so bad, and they didn't improve anything. What did they improve?
They got
anything.
They got Vezenkov and Chris Duarte off the bench. Those are 2 guys that will play minutes for them, and another year of Keegan Murray. I think Keegan Murray is going to take another sophomore step.
No, I'm going under. I'm not going to bet it, but I'm going under. It's the lighting we're not going to be lighting the beam anymore.
That was going to be my lead. Light the mother effing beam. Give me the over 44.5. I just think this really comes down to they care about the regular season. We said Suns under. They're not going to care. We said, I don't know, that's like one of our main hit points is like, will they care about the regular season? The Heat, will they care? The Suns, will they care? The Kings care. The Kings care about the regular season. This is still a new enough core, a new enough roster where it's like, all right, we have something to prove. Last year, we have to prove we're not just a flash in the pan from last year. Light the beam. I'm going over here.
I think they make the playoffs. I do. I think they win 44, 43 games, but their defense was so bad. It's not the same as like, oh, when Carolina went on that run or UCLA went on that run in the tournament, come back the next year, and it's like, okay, that was a fluke. It's not a fluke by any means,
Right.
but I think people are going to figure it out a little bit more and understand how to play the Kings. I think last year was just more of a shock, and they're like, what is this Kings team? Like, we're coming in from Denver on a Tuesday night. We're going to Sacramento playing on Thursday night. What
And
is this
Malik
Kings
Monk
team?
just dropped 35 on me? What just happened?
Yeah, I think people solve it a little bit more. That defense is really, really bad, man. That's got to get figured out, and I just don't think it does.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I think that's a fair point. I still like the over. I just think they care, and they're going to catch some of these teams sleepwalking, and they're just going to come out and punch them in the mouth. But, I don't feel great about it, but I like the over.
I think the next division we'll talk about is going to be a lot quicker. But anyhow, Pacific Division recap. We both went under on the Suns. That is a mortal lock for me. I love that. That's my favorite bet in the West.
I love that as well. I'm going to bet that.
Warriors, you said over. I said under. Lakers, we both went over. Clippers, I said over. You said under. Can't believe I said that, but I think it's time to zag. Buy low, sell high. Kings, I said under. You said over. Another buy low, sell high again for me. Now it's do you have any other bets in that one besides the Suns?
No, that's probably going to be the only one I actually take in that division, will be the Suns.
Yeah. Okay, Southwest Division, and then we'll close up here with finals picks and other stuff. Memphis, over under 45.5 last season. They went 51-31. Ja Morant suspended for 25 games this season. They had Marcus Smart. Are you going over or under for the Grizzlies?
I'm going under. I'm not a believer in Memphis. Give me under 45.5. Ja's out for 25 games. That's a third of the season. That's a big deal. That's a huge number. They were good without him the last couple years. Sure, there's all those stats about being like, oh, they were, 75% win percentage without Ja Morant, whatever the number is. Tyus Jones is gone. They don't have the same depth that they had. Tyus Jones can't, fill that void. Now it's Marcus Smart. Now it's Derrick Rose. I don't believe in either of them. Derrick Rose is 35. That's not going to be anything. There's a reason he hasn't been in a rotation in 3 years. Marcus Smart's going to have the ball in his hands so much at the end of games. And then when Ja finally does come back, you think he's just going to be like, oh, here you go. No, he's going to be reluctant. He's going to be like, I'm the guy. I've been handling this team for the first 4 weeks. This is, not my team, but he's going to want the ball at the end of games. I don't trust it. I don't even think they win. They might win 7 games without Ja. I think they're going to be that bad before he comes back.
I agree with you. I think the Tyus Jones piece not being there is a huge part of this too. I think he was a stable guy that they needed in this program.
It's like a calming presence.
College.
Yeah, program, yeah.
This program. The Hornets might need a program. The Grizzlies. No, but Tyus Jones. I think Tyus Jones not being there and Ja Morant not being there, that's what this win total is about. I think it would be higher. I think they might put Memphis at 48.5 wins if Ja Morant's playing those 25 games, 48.
I think they put him at 50.
Yeah, maybe you're right. And they're a regular season team, but I could see Marcus Smart coming out hot out of the gate, like chip on my shoulder, F you Boston, like this is my team. Let's go. And I was going to mention it, but you said it first. When Ja Morant comes back and Marcus Smart's been running the show, that's going to be hilarious because there's going to be so many games. It's tight late, and you just want Ja Morant, give him the ball, go to the basket. It's a Marcus Smart step back contested three.
He's clapping his hands on the wing like, give me the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's spot on.
Under for me. Under. You can't take the over with Ja Morant being out.
No, you can't. I think this win total is way too high with him missing those games, and he's not going to come back in and instantly click either. It's going to take some time. This is a new team.
And when he was out during last season, people would be like, well, they were fine when he was out. But Tyus Jones helped a lot of that. He was a good, stable point guard. No, Tyus Jones is not going to win you a playoff series by any means, or he might win you a playoff game like a DJ Augustine, but I just don't think Marcus Smart does it, and especially not Derrick Rose.
No, and where's the depth on this team? Like, I'm looking at the roster. They have Luke Kennard, sure, and Zaire Williams might start for them, but those guys don't do anything for me. They have all these young, unproven guys like David Roddy, Jake LaRavia, Santi Aldama. Like, what are they really doing for me? Yeah, Kenny Lofton, John Conchar. That's not really a great bench rotation if we're being honest. I'm going to be completely honest. Give me the under. I will say, real quick on the Grizzlies, since we're doing this, Jaren Jackson Jr. plus 600 Defensive Player of the Year. Not bad. Not bad odds there. I sprinkled that.
Let's do New Orleans. Over under 44.5 last season, 42-40. This is supposed to be the Zion health year. This is time for Zion. It's boom or bust now. Time for Zion. If you don't do it now, we might be seeing him out of the league, and it could get scary for Zion. I'm nervous. Over under 44.5 for New Orleans. Give me the over.
That's it? Just give you the over? That's all you got?
I just wanted to see your reaction once I said give me the over.
We're aligned. Give me the over as well. I actually love this. 45 games. If you look at this team top to bottom, Carter, they have the talent. They have the pieces. We're due for a healthy Zion year. If he can play just 65 games.
And the thing is, he doesn't even need to play with that explosiveness at Duke. He
just
doesn't.
Play.
Just play.
Yeah, I agree. They had the bench pieces. You look at their bench. Jordan Hawkins, rookie from UConn. Trey Murphy. Jose Alvarado. Dyson Daniels. Larry Nance. Najee Marshall played well last year. Cody Zeller. They have 12 guys on this team. Cody Zeller's been in some games. Come on. But, like, they have guys for, like, every scenario. They have guys off the bench for every scenario. They need shooting, bring in Trey Murphy. They need defense, lock somebody down, somebody's in foul trouble, get Alvarado in there. They need Najee Marshall to come in on a random night when 3 starters are out and score 20. He did it last year. They have all of these pieces to fill and plug these holes. If their starting 5 can just stay healthy for the majority of the year, because when Zion played, he was awesome.
And he's one of the best plus-minus guys in the league. And plus-minus is a distorted stat because who are you playing with? That's a huge part of it. But when it's consistent and you're the guy and the plus-minus is great when you play and they win games when you play, Zion, I just don't think he has the explosiveness or the durability, but Zion at the 5 would just be so ideal for this team.
Yeah, and I think to close games, if he is healthy, halfway through the year, they could turn to that small ball lineup.
Yeah, Zion at the 5. Or if you're down and you're like, we need a comeback. We have 5 minutes. Like, we're down 10. Let's roll. Zion at the 5, spread the floor, and let's go.
Switch everything on defense. Yeah, run the break. Yeah. I think you're right. I like the over, and I will actually bet this. This is one of the ones I'm betting.
I can't wait to finally watch Zion be healthy. And even if it lasts for like 2 weeks, which probably will, like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. He's going to, like, get me to buy League Pass, which I'm already going to buy because of the Hornets. And I'm like, oh, but the Pelicans too. And then I never get to see him play because he's hurt. But anyhow, let's move on. Dallas, 43.5. Last season, 38-44. They tanked at the very end to make sure they got their draft pick. Kyrie Irving now on the team. Derek Lively, starting center for the Mavericks. People are not happy about that.
I don't know what to think about that.
Really? I actually think it's fine. I don't think he's quite as good as Mark Williams, but I think it's the same thing. Just a rim running big. He'll never demand the ball.
Yeah, but he's looked a little off in some of these games I've watched as far as like catching the ball.
He's raw.
Yeah,
he's raw.
He's
very raw. So, but he's a defensive guy.
Well, Carter, I'll start it off here at the Mavs. Give me the over. Give me the over 43.5. This number has dipped too low for a Luka Doncic-led team. They were at 52 wins 2 years ago. Yes, it was a different roster. Jalen Brunson was there, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. They were at 52 wins 2 years ago. The COVID year, which was only Luka's second year, they didn't have a good team. They were 43-32 before the season got cut short. That's a pretty damn good record. I just think Luka's good for at least 40 wins a year, and I struggle saying this because we're not due for a Kyrie Irving normal year, but it kind of feels like we are, but I don't even know if that exists anymore.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know.
It doesn't. No, like I said, the Clippers, whatever. Kyrie Irving's a whole nother business you don't want to get into. Kyrie Irving is like, it's like betting. I'm trying to think of a good way to say this. It's like playing roulette.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you're not playing red or black. You're like 7 red.
Or you're putting it on green.
You're putting it on green, and you're like, that's just not going to happen. It's not.
Yeah, we'll trade for Kyrie on the 1 in 20 chance that he has. Yeah, I don't know.
But they don't need it, and also they tanked last season. They could have probably finished 500 if they didn't tank at the very end. So I'm over here too with you.
I just think it's too low for a Luka Doncic-led team, and these younger guys are going to have to play. Yeah, Lively's going to have to start. Yeah, Omax is going to have to play minutes. I think Josh Green's going to be fine. I think Jaden Hardy's going to be good off the bench as a volume scorer. I think they're going to be decent enough to get 44 wins in this conference. I do.
And this is the only time I'll ever believe this. I saw the workout videos this year, and you see Luka. It looks real this year. It looks real.
Yeah.
He looks in shape. He looks ready to roll.
Well, you saw Jokic whenever he lost all that weight. He turned it up another notch. His durability, his stamina.
Just wait till this podcast loses weight, dude. Then it's like game on.
Yeah, we'll be sponsored. We'll be making it big. Yeah. I like the over here, Carter. I don't know. I think Kyrie, if he could stay competent enough for at least a few months to rack up some wins. I mean, it's not going to be the whole year, but if he goes on a stretch and they're tearing through the league for a few months and then he goes off the rails, I don't care. If they hit 44, I don't care.
Yeah. Houston over under 31.5 last season, 22-60. They were tanking for Wemby, the whole thing, whatever, blah blah blah. They don't own their first round pick going into this year's draft, so the tank isn't a worry. They have Brooklyn's first round pick, so they're going to go for it. They're going to play games. They're going to try and win games and play hard. That's why you sign a guy like Fred VanVleet. I sneaky like the over here.
Really?
But not bet. No way, shape, or form. Sneaky like 32. Vegas got this number right.
I agree. I'm leaning under here just because I have too many overs in like the mid-tier West Division where it's like 43, 42. I have a lot of those overs. I think somebody's got to lose the games, and I think the Rockets, they aren't built to win right now. Yeah, they have Van Fleet, and they signed some guys, Jock Londale, Dylan Brooks. Like, they've signed some names. I don't love Fred VanVleet. Didn't love him in Toronto.
I don't either, but it's just a guy you have in the regular season, and there's a little bit of stability there in Houston now. Before, it was the most AAU basketball you could ever watch at the highest level.
Yeah, I just think it's going to take at least a month for these guys to mesh because they kind of have like two parallel timelines where it's like, okay, we have Van Fleet, Dylan Brooks, Jock Londale, Jeff Green. We have these guys that are like proven names we signed in free agency, but then we got our young guys. We got, Amen Thompson. We got Jalen Green, Şengün. Kevin Porter's gone now. But it's like two different timelines. How are they going to mesh together? That's my question. Yeah. Jabari Smith on this side. How are they going to mesh together? They've got the talent, but I don't think they're built to win right now this season. I think Ime Udoka, it'll take him a year to get them together. So I'm going under.
I'm going to go slide over just because I also went under on some teams, and also they just don't the management doesn't have anything to tank for. So
yeah,
but it is you get scared because you're like, they went 22-60 last year. Are they 10 wins better? I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I'm going to say they are 10 wins better. So over 31.5 for me, and then close up here. I'll let you do this one. San Antonio over under 28.5 last season, 22-60. The tank for Wemby was on. They got him. Talk to me about San Antonio.
They broke my heart on draft lottery night. Broke my heart because we were one.
I was sitting next to a Mexican lady on a flight from Dallas to Greensboro, watching that on my phone, and I just go, fuck, and just get so mad.
Yeah. I was sitting alone in my apartment in Farmington, Connecticut at the time, and I was a huge, large pizza from Maple Pizza in front of me. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, wait, Pistons got the 5th pick? Oh my God, we're still in it. Got down to the last two.
Hey. And she was speaking to me in Spanish. She was like, is everything okay in Spanish? I was like, no, it's not okay.
No, yeah, no bueno. 28.5 this year. Let's not get it twisted. Wemby's going to be awesome, and he's going to be the most talked about and most clipped off person on social media this year. That doesn't mean it translates to wins. I think there's a lot of hope, a lot of hype around this team, and I think Wemby is going to be that guy. He will be that good. I don't think this year it translates to wins. The Spurs win totals, they've been boosted on every book. Even as soon as they got the draft lottery pick, it was like Spurs 35 wins boosted, Spurs 40 wins boosted, Spurs to make the playoffs boosted. I don't believe in it. They don't have a roster to win now. Jeremy Sohan was starting at point guard last night, and then Popovich said that's the opening night lineup. They're starting Sohan at point guard. Give me a break. Hated him since Baylor. Screw that guy. But I don't think that lineup works. I think Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, they're good pieces. And I think Wembanyama's going to be fine. They're starting Zach Collins at center. There's just not enough guys on this team to get this win total, and I'm going under, and I feel pretty good about that.
Can I put the biggest point in here that no one's talking about enough?
Yeah.
Wemby's not going to play the full season. I don't think it's as bad as like Chet, where like Chet didn't really play stuff.
Yeah.
One slight, somewhat sketchy injury, Wemby shut down the year.
Yeah, if he twists an ankle, we won't see him for 3 months.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those. They're going to be super cautious with him, which they should be. There's no point. You're not here to win now. I'm going to go under with the Spurs just because of that. I don't trust the health bet with a guy that big. Yes, he's thicker, and he played all those games in France. I'm not worried about his durability to play or that necessarily. I think it's going to be a management decision of, hey, we can't let this guy play this much early on. We got to save him. We got to make sure he's good. He's going to be awesome. Most clipped off guy for sure. No doubt about it. We're seeing it right now in the preseason. Every time you're scrolling social media, bam, Wemby clip. But
it's warranted. The stuff he's doing, it's warranted.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I hate to do this to Trey Jones, but going under on the Spurs.
Yeah, and the thing with Wemby is, you mentioned the Spurs as an organization. If he gets a slight ankle tweak anywhere February or after, he's done for the year. He won't meet that 65-game threshold to win Rookie of the Year, which is why I like Scoot Henderson to win Rookie of the Year, because I don't think Wemby plays enough games.
Can I add a point here to the Scoot Henderson stuff?
Yeah.
For the Rookie of the Year, we can get into bets now. Real quick, I'll just recap the totals real quick. In that division, it was Memphis both under, New Orleans both over, Dallas both over, Houston I went over, you went under, and Spurs both under. Anyhow, the Rookie of the Year part. Don't bet Scoot Henderson now.
No.
Wait 2 weeks in, and Wemby's going to go bananas. You might be able to get Scoot Henderson at like 10-1, 12-1 if that happens 2 weeks in.
Yeah, because I got him at 6-1 like during the draft, and
see that's worth it. Once at that 6-1 mark, I think anything that or higher is worth it. Anything lower than that, I don't take.
Yeah, like right now he's like plus 350 or something. Wait until Wemby starts going off and the hype goes crazy, and he's like minus 200 Rookie of the Year, and then you strike.
Yeah, there we go. That's smart gambling right
there.
That is
smart betting. That is.
Okay. Any other bets you want to bring up right now? Should we do like preseason awards and all that, or do we want to? Let's do MVP, NBA Finals, and then. But first, any bets you have outside of these win totals that we discussed.
I have one long shot bet that I really like, and we're both over on the Pelicans. Remember, Zion Williamson in season tournament MVP plus 4,900, 49-1 for him to win in season tournament MVP. That's a team that's young. They're gonna care.
But Chris Paul said he's going for that in-season tournament. Chris Paul's getting his trophy.
Give me a break. The Warriors are going to care the least about that tournament.
And they're not going to give a single F.
I think Zion is. I was looking at like in-season tournament MVP bets as like a young team that's going to care about that tournament with a guy that is has the potential to take off. So I wrote down two. I got Zion plus 4,900 and sneaky Tyrese Halliburton plus 7,000. If you like the Pacers.
I don't hate those.
If you're an analytical nerd, but like I think that some of these better teams like they're not going to care as much as we think they are.
No, it's going
to be like the Thunder, the Pelicans, the Pacers, those teams.
These regular season teams that really don't have a shot at the title, and they're like, we can get a trophy. We can make this look good for our fans. Like, we can go for this.
They need the financial incentive. They don't have a Supermax contract yet. Like, it's a team that their best players aren't on like a Supermax deal. So. Zion is, but...
Anyhow, I love that. I don't have really any, like, we talked about them on the Eastern Conference one with Tatum and stuff like that, but... Yep. Give me your MVP pick. Is it still Tatum?
Yeah, so if you listen to the Eastern Conference episode, I love Jason Tatum. I think I got it at plus 900. It's down to 750 on some of these books now. This is the year for Jason Tatum. He fits all the criteria. The Celtics are going to be great. They're going to be top of the league. They're going to be competing for a title, maybe 60 wins. Tatum's not going to have to do too much on defense with Jrue Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown all there with him. He's going to be able to focus solely on his offensive game, getting buckets night in, night out. He's going to be taking the most shots, and these guys around him are going to set him up. That's what they're going to be looking for him. Jrue Holiday played with Giannis. He knows how to get a superstar involved. Derek White, he's not going to be crazy on offense. This is Jason Tatum's team, especially on offense. He's at the age now where he's hitting his prime. He's never won it before. No voters fatigue. People are going to be like, man, Tatum needs one. This is the best team in the league, so we got to give it to the best player on the best team in the league. I love it. This is the year for Jason Tatum, and I took it.
I like Tatum too. Jokic isn't going to care. Devin Booker's not a bad shout.
No, it's not. If you're going to go under on the Suns' win total, you should sprinkle Devin Booker MVP because if they do hit that total, it's kind of a hedge to where he's going to be in the MVP conversation.
Yeah. So if I think, but you know what's a big concern too is, I think Jokic might just win it. I know there's voter fatigue, but what if the Nuggets go 58 and 24? And Jokic averages 25, 15, and 12 like he always does. And let's say no one else really let's say Tatum doesn't take that next step up. Let's say the Suns aren't as good and they're load managing for the playoffs. Like, you kind of end up with Jokic.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think Tatum and Jokic would be my two favorites. Maybe a little one, it's less odds, but Luka Doncic also, if the Mavs have 45 wins and he's averaging 35 a game, he's like plus 600 right now. It's not terrible. I think that's
on that one.
Yeah, I still think Tatum. Tatum.
I like Tatum. I like that a lot, and because they're going to win a ton of games regardless.
Right.
He's super durable,
and they're going to be on national TV all the time, and so people are going to get a heavy dose.
There's no voter fatigue either. All right, this comes to our last part, and then we're done. Finals picks. Give me your NBA Finals picks as of October 19th, 2023.
So I just went on this whole tangent about Tatum MVP. I've got the Boston Celtics coming out of the Eastern Conference. I think they've really, really revamped this roster in the right way. I think Jrue Holiday, Porzingis, it's such an upgrade from Marcus Smart, Rob Williams, Malcolm Brogdon. I think they did a great move there. Al Horford doesn't have to play as many regular season minutes this year. I think he'll still be fresh for the playoffs. You saw what he did last year. Don't think they can expect that level of production, but him off the bench, Peyton Pritchard off the bench. I think they're going to be a pretty good team this year. They have the depth. And man, Drew Holiday was in Defensive Player of the Year conversations. He just won a title with the Bucks. People aren't understanding how good of a player he actually is. He's been there. And if Porzingis stays healthy, he's not going to be asked to do too much. He doesn't need to take 25 shots a game. He's going to be the third, fourth option on the court some nights.
That's a sneaky part no one's talked about with these Celtics teams is they've never had a guy that's won it.
Right, exactly, yeah, and especially at point guard.
Yeah.
They've had they had Kyrie, but that blew up in itself.
So who's coming out of the West?
Celtics East. The West is a little tougher for me.
You're gonna say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say the Lakers.
Dang it! I wanted it.
No,
I
know.
I think we're gonna have the same pick here.
I think we are too. I'm going Denver Nuggets.
You have to.
I don't think there's a way you can bet against Jokic in the regular season, and especially not in the playoffs. That's what I was about to say, is especially not in the playoffs. Jamal Murray, we saw him last year once he shook off the rust. That's the best 1-2 punch in the league, is that dribble handoff with Jokic and Jamal Murray. They've been there now. They have the guys with the experience. Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. hopefully will take another step forward. KCP. It's going to be on their bench. If Christian Brown can step up and a couple of these guys, these younger guys, if they can step up and play 15 minutes a night, that would be the only reason I don't pick them is their depth. But man, Jokic and Murray, they're playing 40 minutes a night. I can't pick against them in any single 7-game series.
Yeah, so we'll start off. I'm doing the same thing. I'm picking Boston and Denver in the NBA Finals. Let's do the Boston part first. You mentioned it. Drew Holiday's been there. This is the revenge season for Boston. This is it. This is now or never. I also don't believe in Damian Lillard being healthy in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think it's sustainable. I think Brooklyn, even if one of those, Middleton. When has Middleton been healthy lately? Giannis was banged up last year, so they have to be super,
Brook Lopez is
super
35
healthy.
now.
And talk about not having depth. After those four guys, what do you have in Milwaukee?
Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder, those guys aren't doing it for me.
Exactly.
Campaign.
And nobody else in the East really does it for me. You look at it, Philadelphia, no. The Hornets, maybe.
Cavs will be frisky, but they're not going to make it that far. I really think the Celtics in the East is the best play. I don't think the Heat are going to have one of those years again. I'm looking at the teams now. It's Boston.
Yeah, it is Boston. And it's Denver in the West. I think we see Denver Golden State in the Western Conference Finals, and I think we end up seeing the end of the Warriors dynasty. I think Denver kills the dynasty, and I'm taking Denver over Boston. And let's talk about Denver in the West, their path. The Lakers. They cooked the Lakers. They swept the Lakers. Yes, you can say, well, every game was close. That was the closest sweep ever. They still swept the Lakers. That happened. Jokic dominated that series still. The Suns. If the Suns and Nuggets match up, how on earth are they going to stop Jokic?
They're not. They don't have an answer.
Who's going to stop Murray?
Bol's going to have to guard Jokic. Yeah, no, exactly. It's literally going to be like the Suns trying to outscore every team they play, and they can't do that with the Nuggets.
And the Nuggets have enough on defense to offset, hey, Aaron Gordon, you're not going to slow down Kevin Durant a ton, but it helps. Aaron Gordon's a great guy to put on Kevin Durant.
KCP, he can chase around Booker
or Beal, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't like the Suns at all for a finals bet whatsoever. Another health bet that I don't like. It's Denver Boston. Give me Denver winning the title. I think they repeat. I think the Denver dynasty starts.
I'm zagging on that. I've got Denver Boston, but I'm taking the Celtics to finally break through with this team and win the title for the first time this year.
Do you see Joe Mazzulla lifting an NBA title?
I do. Weirdly enough, I do. It'll look out of place, and he'll be like, "Oh, the trophy's bigger than him almost." And he'll be holding it up like this. I see it.
You could say the same thing about Ty Lue. When Ty Lue won it, you're like, "Dad, that makes sense."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man.
But
yes,
okay, that's fair.
It might be a little square, a little chalk, but
I was praying you were going to say Lakers Celtics, and
I can't get there with the Lakers this year. I can't do it. Not in the finals. I think they're going to be a good regular season team, but the Nuggets are a buzzsaw.
How can they beat Denver?
The Nuggets are a buzzsaw. Exactly. It would literally take an injury to Jokic or Murray for the Lakers to win.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Anyhow, all right, that's it. That's NBA previews. NBA starts Tuesday. You're listening to this before Tuesday. Get everything in that you can. Hornets title season, another year, we have a chance at the NBA Finals.
Genuinely, listen to us. We were high on the Hornets under last year. Take their win total this year. It'll scare you off. It's gross. You're going to hear a lot of teams or people crap talking the Charlotte Hornets. Take them. They're going to be good, and I'm excited to watch.
All right, that's it. I'm very excited about the Hornets. And follow us on all social media at Connor_Sparrow, at CarterBA, at CarterCast on everything. I'm gonna make graphics for all like our big preseason bets and all that. I'll put them up on there. We'll have those out there. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, rate, review. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple, hit the 5 stars. Leave a review. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.